What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Arc Raiders. So Arc Raiders is an extraction shooter set in a post-apocalyptic world kind of taken over by robots. And basically your goal here is to hop in and escape. You're not trying to get the most kills as possible. You're trying to hop in, finish missions, so that way you can upgrade your base and upgrade your armor, guns, all kinds of things like that. So you hop into what's called raids, and basically these raids are filled with both AI and actual human enemies. And if you manage to escape with all of your loot, you get to keep everything. But if you unfortunately die in the raid, you lose pretty much everything. There is like a little slot where you can keep certain items, but for the most part, you lose all of your items when you lose in a raid. And also, all of the gameplay that you're watching was recorded on an Xbox Series X. And it's also currently in a playtest, so if you do want to get access to the game, you're going to have to sign up for that playtest and just hope that you get a code. But it is available on Xbox, PlayStation, and of course PC. So we're going to talk about some pros, some cons, and specifically what the console version of this game is like. So the first great thing about this game is the atmosphere. The way that the sounds are for the environment, the guns, the explosions, it all just comes together and it creates a really tense experience when you're going through raids, whether it's with people or solo, especially solo. The next thing, it's a great balance between not being so difficult that it's kind of frustrating, you don't understand what items you're looking at and what you're trying to do, but also not being too easy to the point where you kind of get everything done and it's just not engaging, it's not challenging. I think they really did strike a great middle ground with this. So I would recommend it whether you're new to extraction shooters or you've been playing Tarkov or any of these other games for a certain amount of time, you will find something to enjoy here. And there's also a free loadout option which allows you to hop in with a random low tier loadout, which basically gives you low tier guns, low tier items. And this is great if you just want to hop in and not really care about your loadout, or if you've lost a lot of your stuff and you want to just hop into a raid, see if you can get some loot and start to get going again. So this is a great feature. Next, I want to talk a little bit about the progression. There is a lot here. So you can either upgrade your base or you can actually upgrade your character. And when it comes to upgrading your base, this is going to allow you to craft more healing items, more guns, all kinds of things like that. And then you can also upgrade your character, which is going to allow you to upgrade things like their stamina or how many items they can hold, or even make them quieter when searching different things. This can be kind of seen as a pro or a con. If you're not too familiar with extraction shooters, maybe it's too much. But I do think that it's really nice that they have these features. Now, time will tell when it comes to the character upgrades, because I think that someone who has completely gone through the character tree will absolutely wreck someone who's newer to the game and doesn't have any upgrades yet. And this is something that is unique to extraction shooters, maybe just unique to this one. But if you think about games like Call of Duty and these other games where when you hop in, no one's faster than any other character, right? So it can feel like a level playing field and you can win if you just simply outsmart your enemy. But this game, we could get to a point where there are just people that are just more upgraded than you, have better guns, have more stamina, and are able to just outplay you, even though they might not have the best accuracy. It's just they have more hours and they win. So we'll see how that kind of plays out in the long term for this game. Now the missions for the most part are good. They pretty much just tell you to go somewhere and either grab an item or kill a certain enemy and get an item off of them. And that's pretty much it. And they are pretty simple. I am kind of towards the beginning of the missions. I haven't gotten to the more difficult missions yet. I'm sure there'll be some missions telling you to maybe kill a certain amount of enemy players and things like that. But so far, the missions have been pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and I like that, especially if you're new to extraction shooters or just new to this game in general. Alright, so let's talk about some cons. So the first thing I kind of want to talk about is the enemy robots and like the AI that you fight against. Normally, if you think about games like Tarkov and things like that, they're scavs, which are they're enemy AI, but they're human. So you can shoot them one shot to the head and it's over. But with this game, you fight against robots, and they can be absolute bullet sponges. They take so much ammo, and I don't know if this is just because I'm a newer player, so I haven't had my guns upgraded quite yet. but they take a ton of bullets, and I honestly think that they may take a little bit too much bullets for each enemy that you encounter. And there's also no feedback on when you're hitting either an enemy AI or a real player. You have no feedback, so you can't really tell if you're hitting them or not, or if you're getting like critical hits. This can be seen as kind of a pro or a con. I'm kind of in the middle about it. And for the next con, I'm gonna mention the missions again. So I'm currently stuck on a mission where I have to find these specific explosives. And there is one particular area in the map where you can go, and there's a higher likelihood that you'll find it. But I've literally only been able to find one, and I have to find two for this mission. And I have been stuck on it for an hour, maybe even longer, kind of going into raids and just searching the same areas over and over again, hoping that I find this item. And normally this wouldn't be like too much of an issue in another extraction shooter because you can activate multiple missions at the same time. So even though you might not be able to finish one, you can work on another and things like that. But at least right now, you can only do one mission at a time. Now, like I said, maybe in the future, as I continue to play and level up, you can do multiple missions from multiple different traders. I'm sure that's probably an option, but you can very easily get stuck on some of these early missions because you can only do them one at a time. Okay, so should you play this game? So if you're a fan of extraction shooters, absolutely. Has a great atmosphere, great progression, and there's just something to love for every type of player, whether you're brand new to the genre or you've been playing it for quite a while. Now, what if you're not too familiar with extraction shooters? Maybe this will be your first one. Then I still think that you should definitely give it a shot. As long as you're not someone who needs like constant PvP all the time and you kind of like progression and things like that. So what about the actual console experience of this game? Like I said, I was on the Xbox Series X, and for the most part, the game looks great. As you can see, the graphics are great. Everything looks sharp. Some really great views within the game. But my only issue was every once in a while there was this random hiccup where we would kind of just drop frames, even if nothing was really going on. And then the other thing I noticed was quite a bit of crashes. After I finished or escaped a raid, I would just get a connection error and it would boot me out of the game, or it would go to a black screen, and there would be nothing I can do but restart the game. Luckily, I did not lose any progress, so don't let that deter you from playing, but kind of just something that I wanted to make sure I made a note of. And one thing that's kind of interesting is we really don't have much extraction shooters on console. The only other one that we have is actually Vigor, which is another kind of third-person apocalyptic extraction shooter. But this one is so much more in-depth. It's one of the best extraction shooters, whether we're talking about PC or console here. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning into the video. If you have played this game, please let me know in the comments, and I want to know if you guys are kind of familiar with the extraction shooter genre, or this is like your first one or one of your first ones. And make sure that we like and subscribe. It's easy, and we'll see you guys next time.